Welcome, everybody, to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games one stage at a time, not skipping a single level. We are playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night right now, and we are playing through today Orlox's Chambers and the Colosseum. I am Aaron Neeson. I'm joined by Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
Are you not entertained?
You can't tell listeners, but I just gave the thumbs down. Yeah. And we are joined by Sam Ingersoll. Hello, Sam.
Hello. I've officially busted the ass off of this game.
You busted its ass.
Sonic the Hedgehog style.
Clean off.
You violated this video game. Gentlemen, let's talk about Castlevania.
Well, here we are again, folks. Another episode of One Stage at a Time, another stage of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And this time we're looking at the Colosseum, but like Aaron said, we kind of have to go through some other places to get there. This is another case of where am I going?
Oh yeah, big time. I usually do this right before the podcast, but I had to do some yard work, so I went ahead and did it the day before. And boy, am I glad that I did that, because I spent a lot of time just trying to remember what the fuck I was supposed to do. We were like, we're going to do the Colosseum. All right. And I'm like, wait, how the fuck do I actually get to the fucking Colosseum?
Well,
and so it took me a little bit of running around to remember which place to go through first.
If you had bothered to listen to the podcast, Andy told you exactly where to go last episode.
Well, I mean, I was there for the podcast.
So maybe you should listen to it again, buddy. It's a good show.
It was fun. It was fun trying to, it made me feel like I was playing the game as a kid again, you know? Like, that's the fun of the game, is like figuring out where to go next.
Right. Yeah. Sam is like Guy Pearce in Memento. He can't remember anything before 5 minutes ago.
It is exactly that, because I did remember after a little while that you mentioned the clock tower room and waiting every minute. And that's when it came back, to be honest. But I did run around quite a bit trying to find the entrance to the Colosseum.
Well, for the listeners at home, when last we spoke and you listened, we had just obtained the Leap Stone in the Castle Keep, which we really just took a brief detour to the Castle Keep after conquering the Royal Chapel. And now that we have the Leap Stone, we can double jump. We've achieved man's greatest ambition and mastered the ability to double jump. And so that opens up a lot of the game now. You could go back to the Long Library. You could go down to the underground caverns and explore more of that area. But neither of those would be the correct way to go. What you're supposed to do is use the new teleporter, which there's a new teleport room in the Castle Keep, and take that back to the outer wall, and then walk from the outer wall down the longest hallway in the game once more, all the way back to the Marble Gallery, and make your way to the center of the castle and to the clock room, the ubiquitous and mysterious clock room in the very center of the castle.
I went from the outer wall to the entrance, I think, and then I worked my way up through the basement way, killing what's his face, Cthulhu. Yeah, I killed him and worked my way up and got my way there that way.
I think that's how I did it too, actually.
Nice.
It seemed the fastest way. Maybe it wasn't, but it seemed like it was the fastest way.
It may be. I mean, because you could take the teleport to the entrance and then through the alchemy. Or no, yeah. No, you're right. That may be faster. I don't know. I haven't timed it out. But
speedrunners, let us know.
I was thinking that whole area with the Cthulhu monsters, like, it's totally optional. You don't ever have to go through that area. And it reminds me of an area in Super Metroid that speedrunners call the Lost Highway, because there's no need to ever go there, even in 100% speedrun. There's no items there. There's nothing whatsoever. It's just a different way to go between two of the areas. And so you never ever see it in a speedrun, except for the bizarre category where you get 100% map completion. That would be the only one.
So we're watching something right now.
I forgot about that.
I did not do. And this person went to up and right in the clock room before going up and left. Yes. And found some interesting items there with interesting names.
Well, and I remember when the very first time we came through here, I had the stopwatch which is the item you need to open up the right hand side.
Okay.
I forgot about that. I remember the first time we went there, I used it and it opened up. And I'm like, oh yeah, that path. And then I went on my merry way, and I ended up getting a certain item we'll talk about here in a little bit as a sub weapon that I never want to get rid of ever again.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I didn't have the stopwatch when I came back here again, and I forgot about getting it. And I probably should get it because of how I'm playing the game now. I really need to get up into that room. But yeah, inside that room is the Alucard set, basically. It's the... Oh, go ahead.
It's a trick. It's a...
Oh, right. Oh, right.
It's
I'm intrigued.
Fraud and a deception.
It's the fake stuff.
Yeah. So if you look closely, instead of Alucard, it says Alucard.
I noticed that. Yes. Which, real quick, what did you guys name your character, your save file, anything besides your own name?
I named it Alucard.
You named it Alucard, Sam? What did you name it?
If there's did you have to pick a name, or was there a default? I probably named it Poopster because I name everything Poopster.
It just reminded me that I named my save file Alufart. Because the name of these items is the Alucard with a T at the end.
Yeah.
So Alucard Shield, Alucard Cape, Alucard whatever, blah, blah, sword.
Alucard dildo.
Alucard pocket pussy.
Yeah.
Preparation Alucard. Well, that's right, because then they have like 0 stats or something, right? Like they don't do, like the shield doesn't actually defend or...
Yeah, they're complete shit. Yeah, they don't do anything.
Oh, okay.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I think there might be a thing where like maybe they increase your luck or something like that, but I don't know. Who cares? They're crap. Don't
I have a whole bunch of bullshit.
I totally forgotten about that.
So the real Alucard gear that we had at the very beginning of the game, which Death stole from us, that will make an appearance much later. So you can look forward to that. But this is nothing but a secret and a fraud, and possibly Alucard is like experimenting with like branding his own line of gear.
Dude, how about this? Here's the hot take. His gear is his branded gear. This is just Dracula's sweatshop, skeleton sweatshop knockoff version. that he's about to sell to China.
Yeah.
No,
he's got the
absolutely
patent.
Believe that.
But, yeah, these are going to be sold on the back alleys of Wallachia by a dude in a trench coat.
Yeah, you go to like a shady street merchant in Wallachia, and he's like, you do you want to buy the Alucard equipment?
You want
Alucard? Yeah, sure.
Alucard's
straight out of Dracula's castle, man. Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what a hassle it is to stop those guys. I mean, how do you sue them? They have no assets.
They're only around every 100 years.
The Wallachian authorities have no interest in enforcing my property rights. I wonder what Vlad III's stance on intellectual property was. He probably didn't give a fuck about it, right?
His stance was mine.
Yeah.
I have no stake in this argument.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stake.
Fucking right.
There it is.
So back to the clock tower. So we found it. We talked about the way that it's not really important. It's just more of a little joke, I guess you could say. But if you wait in the clock tower for 1 minute, because it's on your game clocks every minute, the left side statue opens up. That we can now jump into because we have double jump, and that gets us to the Colosseum. No, the Onyx. What's it called?
The Orlox's chamber.
Olrox's quarters.
It's a very small area. It's not very long.
It is.
It has like one of the most annoying enemies in the game.
However,
right smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, and the reason we're not really talking much about Olrox's quarters for this episode is because we're not seeing even really the half of it. We're just getting a small taste of Olrox's quarters. It's kind of bizarre. All it is a pathway to the Colosseum right now. There's a teleporter in there that you can activate. So now you have quick travel to Olrox's quarters. But then there's like a really long vertical shaft up above you, which we have no way of traversing. So the remainder of Olrox's quarters is closed to us at the present time.
Yeah. So okay, Olrox. That's what it is. Olrox.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Olrox is a mistranslation. It's supposed to be Orlok, as in Count Orlok from Nosferatu.
Okay,
Okay,
right.
that's
So
what I want to say, and
so I was like, okay, so an Aurochs. I know what an Aurochs is. At first, I was like, I
Pokemon,
know what an
right?
Aurochs is, and it was like it's some sort of bull monster or something. And then like I just played the game and got to the teleport room, and the teleport room has like a bullhead or something in it, like something similar to that in there. And I was like, okay, so that confirms it. And then like later on, after playing it earlier today, actually, I was like, I'm just gonna look it up because something's not right. And so I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, that's a person in the game. It's a character. Okay. And I was like, what am I thinking of? And I'm thinking of Aurochs, and Aurochs is like an ox or something.
Yeah.
It's like all just fucking me in the head, like this whole situation.
Yeah, it's like a mythological cryptid, right? I think they're in that movie Beasts of the Southern Wilds.
Yeah, but what I looked up, it literally was just it's an oxen. It's another word for the auroch, which was the ancestor of the cow or something. But maybe the thing I read was wrong. I don't know. I don't know why anybody would lie about that on the internet.
Yeah, why would anybody lie on the internet?
No one
you're
would
on the
ever lie
right
to you.
track because there is a mythological. It's like a cyclops bull that like can turn things to stone. I can't remember the name of it, though.
Oh, is that the Catoblepas?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was off then.
This translation is causing all sorts of problems, guys.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's Count Olrock / Orlock. But nevertheless, we'll be seeing him at a future time. So
I can't wait to stab him in the face. It's gonna be great.
He's a cool guy, and I think you'll like him a lot.
So yeah, the poltergeist, right? Let's talk about that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It's like a worse version of what was that sword called in the
Puppet sword.
Puppet sword.
Yeah.
It's like a worse version of the puppet sword.
Yes, much more annoying.
There were so many times that I just didn't fight stuff this playthrough.
Yep.
Like this guy, like I usually ran past him, but like I tried once to fight him with the stopwatch, and I used all my hearts and hadn't even hit the guy in the middle, like the actual sword. Mm-hmm. So it's a floating sword again, but it summons up like all different kinds of weapons. So it's like axes and scythes and swords, and it's got a larger radius of fuckery.
It's got a larger radius. You have less maneuverability, less places to run, and there are so many of them. And like I felt like with the puppet sword, you could knock a few of them out, and it would leave a big dent in his like shield of swords. But this one, you'd knock like 3 of them out, and somehow it would still be a complete circle, and you couldn't touch the guy. It was really annoying. Yeah. I killed him once, and then I was like, fucking never again.
I'm with you guys. This is the part of the game where we can just start running from enemies. Like, what's the point? We can get experience more easily from other places. However, I mean, now we know about magic, and this is a perfect time to use the Soul Steal spell to just completely wreck this guy.
Yeah, I got to master that. I used it in the Colosseum with the bone muskets. That room, I used that because I was getting rinsed. I died a couple times.
Dude,
fortunately, there's a save like there.
That's a very, very a known room, we'll say, for this game.
Yeah,
and it's another one that I used my my sword lord technique where I kept, oh my god, so many times in the Colosseum. So like we're here at the Colosseum. The Colosseum is like 2 long shafts with lots of skinny long hallways off of that. Mm-hmm. So many times in so many different rooms did I get knocked out of the room I was trying to go into by damage. Yeah. Specifically in the Colosseum.
Yes. Yeah.
It was the 2 rooms in particular are the musket room and the guys on the horseback.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, I got knocked. I bounced multiple times. Like I was only taking like 1 damage most of the time. I guess my defense is high enough. Oh no, I was taking 1 damage, but I was kind of being like bounced around where I couldn't even get out. Sometimes I was like stuck, but eventually it knocked me all the way down to the end of that hallway. But let's talk, Andy. I'm sure you've got some to talk about at the Colosseum before we start going off on random Colosseum tangents.
Yeah, sure. Well, as Sam said, the Colosseum consists mainly of like these 2 big vertical shafts, and then there's several levels in between. And it's kind of cool how like if you look in the shafts, you can see like B1, B2, so you can see like what floor you're on. But then each floor has like several areas branching off of it. It's kind of, you get the sense it's like a big circle, Colosseum shaped. There's like long hallways through the middle. There's an elevator, although I'm not sure if it even actually goes up and down, but there is an elevator just kind of hanging there broken. It does go up and down?
You have to activate it a little bit after I think after the boss fight. I think you can activate it.
Okay.
But
that sounds right.
But yes, it does move up and down.
Well, there you go. But yeah, and then in specifically the bottom left and bottom right, there are very, very difficult rooms. And then and you don't even really have to go through them. But there's there's items that are worth collecting if you care to venture through them. These like kind of side rooms, and then in the middle there's the room with, like Sam said, with like these bizarre enemies that's like a guy on a horse, but the back half of the horse is missing, and they're super annoying. I don't know like what the best way to kill those guys is, because they move really quick, and then they'll stop and turn, and that's when they whack you, and they're kind of tall too, so it's hard to jump over them. And they can soak up a decent amount of damage too. So they're all around just very annoying enemies.
Yes, very, very fucking annoying.
Also, the Colosseum has a sub-weapon I had totally forgotten about.
Yeah.
That's like one of my... I've forgotten how much I liked it. I'm guessing it's a taser, but I like to think it looks just like a gun. It's basically a gun, a lightning gun.
I can never tell what the hell this is supposed to look like. I just call it like the lightning. I'm sure it has a proper name that we can look up later, but it's pretty sweet. I mean, it shoots out like a pin in front of you, like a little laser, and then it just like whatever's directly in front of you, line of sight, it just shocks with lightning, and drains your hearts at a pretty rapid rate, but also has some pretty incredible DPS.
It did not do the trick for me in the boss fight though. I had using the fire worked a lot better for me in the boss fight.
The spell?
Yeah. Using not the spell, the item, the holy fire. You throw it and it burns.
Oh, holy water?
Holy water.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Holy water.
Okay.
Yeah. That worked a lot better than the taser. The taser got me killed.
For me, let's go back to the musket room.
Yes.
At the end of that hall is this item right here, the shield rod. AKA buttfucker of Castlevania.
Yeah, the taker of souls.
It seems almost useless if you don't know how it works and what it is, because it does decent damage. I think I got it and I remembered some of the things that I needed for it. So I actually did a bunch of backtracking after I got it. So when you get it initially, it just says something like does stuff with shields or extra attacks with shields
or something.
Yeah,
like that,
effective with shields.
It's got a pretty good attack rating. I had found the Morning Star. I went back through the long library, the stairwell, and jumped across to all the little urns. And I actually don't remember where I got the Morning Star, but the Morning Star is pretty good, mainly because it's got this. You swing it, and for one frame, it goes behind you, and it still damages enemies. So if something jumps over you, your backswing will still fuck it up, which is kind of cool. But the shield rod, so you can do three things with it. You can attack. You can do what the guide calls a radius shield, like from the. It's
a Gradius shield. From the Gradius games.
So if you do back forward attack or just back forward, I can't remember. You throw out like a little, almost like a ninja star that floats in the air. I think it blocks projectiles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
that's all it does.
Yep. Fairly useless, but it's there.
But
I did it once on accident. I didn't know what the fuck happened.
The cool thing that the shield rod does is that depending on what shield you have, it'll do different spells. So I think I had the Night Shield. That one summons a horse that gives you an attack up buff for like 70 seconds.
Yeah.
The one thing that's a little bit weak.
Said spell.
Well, we're gonna.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
You have to do both attack buttons at the same time.
Yep.
So default, it's square and circle if you're using a PlayStation controller, or X and B if you're using like an Xbox controller. So I was having like mad flashbacks. So I remapped my controls. So I moved Wolf to circle, and then R2 is my second attack, so I can just pinch. And I did it the first time. It was like, oh yeah, this is like getting on a bike again. Because that's whenever I use the shield, I always remap the same buttons.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it's kind of awkward to hit square and circle at the same time.
Oh, super awkward when you're trying to move around. But so I got the shield rod. I immediately left and went back to the librarian and bought the iron shield.
Yes, sir.
And this is what destroys the game.
You got that and you were like, I believe in miracles.
Yes. The iron shield, I don't know the spell, but it summons a knight that then has like...
I'm going to show you all a video demonstrating all the shield rod combos a little bit later.
Is it 4 or 2? It's like 4 swords, right?
I think it's 2 crossed swords, and then they
2
spin
crossed
around.
sword. It's either 2. Basically, it does a giant sword shuriken that spins across the what you can see and does like, I don't know how much damage, but a lot of fucking damage every second. And it shows numbers, but it's doing more damage than the numbers show. It's basically doing so much damage that it can't show it. I one-shot the boss in this. Yeah. So game over. Thank you very much.
Thanks for playing, folks.
Thanks for playing.
So I got to go buy the Iron Shield.
You definitely do.
If you want to bust this game, the only problem is it uses a lot of mana. And there is actually an item I have to go find. I don't know if it's anywhere in particular. I know that the Bitterflies and the Royal
Chapel?
They have a chance to drop it. It's called a Mystic Pendant. It just doubles your MP regeneration rate.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's the shield rod. These guys die I actually think. Yeah, they all die in one hit.
They all die.
Everything dies in one hit.
Yeah, everything dies. Yeah, we're at the point in the game where it becomes abundantly clear that this game is broken. Or rather, let me say it can be broken.
Yeah.
Between magic and the shield rod and, a few other things that we're going to find soon enough. If you want to, you can break this game. Now, I mean, if you don't know how to use that stuff or you just want to play it legitimately, you totally can, and it's a fairly challenging game. But if you want to make it easy on yourself, just use the shield rod.
Yeah, that's wild. Because you guys were like, you sent a couple messages about how it like fucks everything. Like it just wrecks the game. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It did 1 less damage than the sword I had because I bought that really nice sword from the librarian. It did 1 less damage. I'm like, oh, but it ups my defense. That is pretty cool. Okay, all right, I'm on board. And you guys were like, yes, I have become death, destroyer of worlds. And I'm like, okay, I'm missing something. That makes a lot more sense.
It's not even the best shield, the highest like. It's not even the best shield to break the game with.
Yeah, there's better ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can just talk about this right now. I'm going to pull up this demo video where this guy's going to demonstrate what happens.
Oh, it's like all the different shield rod spells?
Yeah, the first one is the leather shield, and it just summons a cow.
It gives you, it's a defense up spell, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of them are stat ups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which aren't that useful, but there's some that are attacks, and those are the ones you want. But he's going to go through all of them here. Like,
here's the iron. That's the one I use.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and it just destroys. And it does more attack. It does like when I normally use it, you can't even see all the numbers pop up for how much damage it does. Hello.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa, naked lady.
Holy naked
protection
lady,
from fire, protection from thunder. Oh my goodness.
That was like the goddess shield or something. I don't know. Herald shield. And then this is the Medusa shield. It summons a Medusa that just shoots lightning out of its eyes or something.
I was expecting that thing to turn from stone, but it just incinerated the enemy.
Died. Yeah, here's the Knight Shield. It summons like a horse, and you just get a pretty decent attack up. I think I went from 20-something to 40-something damage.
That's
each
pretty
swing.
good.
Yeah. Wow.
We got the Shaman Shield. This is, what is it, Magic Up or something? It's like I don't even know what that mythical creature is.
Like a chupacabra.
I don't know if it's, I didn't make a note of it, but right now the person's health is 4,913 HP.
Yeah, this guy's cheating for sure.
Okay. I didn't know if it was a spell or a shield bonus that I missed.
No, he's absolutely cheating.
He probably he's got max stats plus more stats.
Oh yeah. Look, when he opens the menu, you can see it.
Yeah.
There's some pretty cool.
Yeah, we got a fire shield. The dark shield. These are all shields that we'll get later.
Sorry, this is more for the video watchers.
Yeah, well, and for Aaron.
Yeah. No, there's the fire demon just summoned a giant skinless skull that torched the enemy. Is that
that was Attack on Titan?
I thought so. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a fucking lot of
every single shield
combos
in the game.
and spells that these shields and and this is only if you have that one. What's it called? The shield cane.
Not
thing.
true.
The shield.
There's
rod.
actually, I think, a sword.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does the same thing. I forget what it's called.
I'm not sure. Mistletoe or something.
So yeah, watch this. This is the Alucard Shield. Oh, no, this is the Alucard Shield. That was the Cart Shield. Nothing happens on that.
It appeared and disappeared, and a little question mark appeared above Alucard's head.
But when
here's the Alucard one. Watch this, Aaron.
Oh, he's charging at the demon, and the demon got
it does
sent
max
to the Phantom,
damage. Yeah,
Phantom
every
realm.
second you hold the shield down, it drains your MP, but it does like max damage every second you touch them with it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty busted. So yeah, that's the shield rod. Lots of combos there. A lot of them are like not that useful because it's just like a stat up or whatever. But the ones that do like AoE effects are really good.
It's just cool that there's so much gear in the game, and it's like every single shield has a unique ability.
Yeah, it's clearly something that they put a lot of TLC into. It's very cool, and this game has a lot of depth, and I am digging it.
Yeah. You're seeing now why it's such a beloved classic. You know, there's a lot under the surface. But yeah, shield rod plus iron shield equals Sam's gonna have a pretty easy time with bosses. There's another specific sword I'll probably use for getting to the bosses because there's one, I forget what it's called.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is it the Crusaegrim?
Yeah, it's the one there's one you can use while you're moving.
Yes, that's
So
the
you can
Crusaegrim.
walk and use it at the same time.
Yeah, it's incredibly good. We will get it later, much later.
Isn't it underground in the watery place?
So
maybe?
it's a drop from an enemy, an enemy that we're not going to see for a long time. But I will be sure to point it out once we get there because it is worth having. And it's a rare drop, but I would say it's worth grinding out. I mean,
it's a very cool looking weapon. It's one of the cooler. I always get the shield rod, and I always get that. And then there was one run where I got that other really awesome weapon, Andy. You know what I'm talking about? It's a sword that does. I don't know why I'm being so secret. There's a sword that does like 8 strikes in one like 8 hits in one press.
That's what I'm thinking of, the Crusaegrim.
Now the one I'm thinking of is you don't actually move your hand. It's just a bunch of like wind swipes happen in front of you as you're walking forward.
Oh, I feel like we're talking about the same thing.
Maybe we are.
Yeah.
Maybe there's because I remember there being another sword that was really good that you could get 2 of and somehow made it better.
Here, hold on. I'm going to go back to that other video I was showing y'all because I think he does like a weapon demo at the end, and I think he uses the Crusaegrim. So we can take a quick preview of that and see if it's what we're both thinking of.
This is like knowledge from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to summon like thoughts from 20 years ago, many drinks and other substances ago.
Many things have happened in between to make this harder.
All right, let's get to the end of this video here. He shows off like, because there's some cool weapons. There's like a sword that you like throw and then it comes back to you, which is pretty tight. And it says a German word in the air whenever you throw it out, which is cool. I think it says verboten. Let's see. Yeah, there's one that like absorbs enemy HP. Okay, yeah, here we go. The Crusaegrim. I think that's how you pronounce that. Yeah. So you can see it there. Countless blades, dice enemy is the description. And watch what happens when he uses this. Yeah, it just makes like a whole bunch of wind slashes appear in front of you.
Yeah, that's okay. But I thought there was a different one.
Yeah, there may be. Who knows? I mean, this game's so deep, I certainly don't know all the secrets of it. Hopefully we'll uncover some of them in this absurdly long series / playthrough that we're doing. And we're back. We should say that the music for the Colosseum is composed by your friend and mine, Michiru Yamane, and the track is called Wandering Ghosts.
Ooh.
I like this one a lot. It's a banger. This is like some smooth R&B from the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. So I liked the song, but I'm just going to say that this is the first time that I do not feel that it fit I don't think that it fit the setting and the mood at all. Like, this is some mall walking movie or music. It is fucking, it was like, it even had like, it had little like guitar riffs in there it was so silly.
This is like if you flipped on your radio in the 90s to like some weird AM station and it was like, this is AM 620, The Rain, and coming up next, some smooth R&B from Michiru Yamane.
Yeah, my wife was like, I could, like, what the fuck music is this? I could get down to this, but what the fuck is this playing? I was like, I don't know.
So, does it make you think of Killing Headless Horses?
No.
I can't say that it does, man. It makes me think of going to KB Toys. Like,
you're strutting down the mall.
Exactly. Yes.
It reminds me
going to Crestwood Mall.
I've kind of got a long time ago. I'd listened to a lot of chiptune music, like Anamanaguchi, and that led into synthwave and I forgot the other one. But basically, like lots of digital music, and some of these guys. There's this one guy. He's named Macross 8999. I think his name 97, whatever. It doesn't matter. He sampled some of these older Japanese songs, and then they became kind of back into popularity. And it's this genre called city pop, which is like late 80s, early 90s. Like Japanese pop music, and this sounds a lot like that.
I feel like I've heard of this city pop. I feel like they were talking about that on a Come Town episode recently.
A lot of like when they had like this like chill music to study to and all things on YouTube for a while, where like the anime girl would be like doing her homework and there'd be like a radio station. It was kind of popular around that time. They'd have those in like city pop. A lot of anime intros from that time period were like that. Macross. Like a lot of the pop idols in Macross, like the kind of music that they sang was pretty much this. But like it reminds me a lot of that music.
Sidebar: have you seen Macross, you guys? The original?
Bits and pieces, yeah.
It's amazing and stupid at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the whole concept is that like Earth gets fucked up, and there's just like this one like giant spaceship called the Macross that's got to fight off these invaders from like another world, and they're like giants and they have like superior technology, and they're just totally unstoppable by normal means. And the way they beat them is because these guys are all like sexless freaks, and they're afraid of what they call proto culture. And it turns out that proto culture is just Japanese pop songs. So they get like the main girl who's like a pop idol to just sing a song about her boyfriend being a pilot. And it like makes all their brains explode, and they just can't fight anymore.
In one of the like big battles, they actually like do a hologram projection of her singing out into space while they have their big space battle to like, yeah, it's crazy, but there's some really cool shit in that. Like, the main ship can actually turn into a robot, right?
I think so.
So they've been on the ship for a while, and they've like set up. It's like really, really, really big. So like they've got like whole entire neighborhoods and hangars and stuff. And like the first time they run into these guys, like, oh fuck, we have to transform. And it like opens up these parts of the ship, and people are like on their porches, like holding on to the door of their house, being like almost sucked out into space and everything. It's really good, but it's really fucking weird at some points.
Is it supposed to be funny? Like, that's funny. Is it supposed to be
Well,
funny?
no, it was made in like the early 80s, so like it was just weird because they were like, what's this fucking anime shit all about? We don't know. We're making it right now. Like it was like the baby steps for modern anime.
Yeah, it was one of the seminal shows for like that whole like space opera anime style.
So it was like, let's just fucking, we're throwing stuff in the pot. Oh, we made spaghetti and meatballs. We didn't know how we got here, and there's some fucking jelly beans. Let's take those out, but we put them in there in the first place. It's just like, yeah. But it works, and then yada yada yada, Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Dude, oh my god, Iron-Blooded Orphans! I love that show.
You know what I mean? Like they're the same thing.
They are the same thing. It's just like a big ship flying through space with robots, except that Macross has a happy ending, and Iron Blooded Orphans
Yeah.
does not have a happy ending.
But that's like that was some of the first steps to kind of like toward like space opera, giant robots. You know, it was kind of like long form too, because like there were like,
It's like 36 episodes, and then there's
the
a whole bunch
US
of
kind
sequels,
of
too.
there's Macross, but there's also what's the American one version of it? Robotech. Like that's the same thing, but they kind of co-opted all these other anime into it and made their own story.
I know a bunch of people that grew up on Robotech. Like our friend Dave, watched it a lot when he was a kid. I didn't really. That was like
it was
just
a
a
bit
little
before my
bit
time.
before. Yeah, like I remember watching like G-Force, which isn't really called G-Force. It's called like Battle for the Planets or something. That was like the first anime I saw where they have like the lion robots that form into a big mech together. But then of course Dragon Ball Z broke my brain and turned me into like a just weeaboo trash forever.
I think the first anime I saw was actually like my dad got me these Ultraman toys, and one of them had VHS from like the 1970s cartoon. It was like a movie. And I remember watching that a lot, and then like some time went by, and then my dad showed me Akira, and then some more time went by. And then I like watched Ninja Scroll, and that's when I like was like aware of like, oh wait a minute, this shit's different.
How old were you when your dad showed you Akira?
I mean, I was in middle school when I saw Ninja Scroll, so it was before that.
Oh my God!
So I must have been maybe 6th or 7th grade.
That's I mean, that's like borderline. That's like maybe we need to get Child Protective Services involved.
Dude, I saw Aliens when I was in elementary school.
Guys, I started reading The Witcher, like the Witcher books. I'm reading the first one right now, The Last Wish, and I'm sitting outside reading. And my little daughter, my little 4-year-old, she has like her little reader books with like a little pen that you like run it across the words and it reads to her and stuff. And she's sitting there, and then she asks me to start reading to her from the books, and I'm like, I don't think that I should. I don't. she's like, please, Daddy, please read to me, please. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And she just keeps at it. And I'm like, in my head, there's like this. I have this policy of like, I'm never going to tell her not that she can't read something. Like in my mind, I have this like policy, like never going to tell her that she can't read a book. Like if there's a book that she wants to read, I'm going to like read it. Just check it out, see what's in there. So we can talk about it if you want. But you know, like I want to be of the policy of like reading. Just read, great, go read. Like, but I'm like, I could traumatize her. Like,
but
I'm literally at a part where Geralt has come across like a bunch of people whose throats have been ripped out and their faces are gone and shit.
Just get your phone out and check out like Harry Potter 1 and just start reading that off in the book. Like, put your phone in the book. And like read that instead. Yeah. You know? Like just don't read her anything. She won't know that you're not reading that book, right?
She's very astute. I don't know, man.
It's gonna be like, Daddy, how did the Striga get created? And you're gonna be like, well, it's because the king had sex with his sister.
What sex? Fuck.
Well, there you go.
But no, like I kept reading silently for like another half page, and then I like got to the monster, and then the monster and Geralt start talking. So I'm like, I think I can read this. I start reading there. And then I was like, after a while, I'm like, Matilda, maybe we should read a book called The Hobbit. Do you want to read The Hobbit?
Yeah.
There you go. Hobbit's good. I would say the Belgariad's good. If she gets a little older.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a really good fantasy series, but it's pretty basic and straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Does it have like the princess of oh crap!
It's got the Pawn of
Prophecy or something.
Yeah.
I read that. I read the first 2 books in that. Yeah.
It's real straightforward. Nothing too crazy. No real fucking or there's like death, but not like horrible death.
There's like talks about sex, but there's no it's implied.
The death is horrible, but more in like once you think about it a little more, like, oh my God, that's terrifying. Yeah. Like he puts a guy into rock and just you're there now forever.
I mean, it's better than Animorphs. Like, some dark
exactly.
shit.
Did you guys ever hear the story about like the people that made Animorphs? It was like, it says K.A. Applegate on the books, but it's actually 2 people. It was like her and her husband.
And Jeffrey Epstein.
God.
Yeah. K.A. Applegate is still wanted and at large. No, they came up with the idea and they like wrote it and then like sold it to Scholastic, and then like they wrote like the first 15 books, and then after that they were ghost written. and they had all these problems with the ghostwriters, like not doing what they wanted to. So they had to like rewrite all the books themselves. And then like apparently Scholastic was hard to deal with, and they didn't realize it, but their agent had like signed away all the rights. So they had no rights to anything. And so they like had no control over like the TV show. They can't go back and like make more books if they want to. They've just completely lost all the rights to it. And they're like really bitter about it. If you ever like read any interviews about it, they just hate talking about Animorphs.
So wait, but they went back and rewrote a bunch of stuff. Could they not do that? Did they have to stop doing that, or
no? It was just like when the ghostwriters would write it, and they were like, "Well, this fucking sucks." So they would just like edit the ghostwriters' work and like make it better. And then for the last few books, I think they came back and like wrote those themselves to like conclude the series. And then they kind of washed their hands of it.
That's a shame. That's too bad.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Never read an Animorphs book. I was strictly in the Goosebumps category of books.
There you go. Now you're talking real literature.
It's specifically the Choose Your Own Adventure ones. Those were my favorite.
Bangers. Yeah, dude. I spent a lot of times on those.
Yeah. I remember getting put in the human zoo and that one, the time travel book. That was my favorite one, the time travel book.
Yeah, dude. I wish I still had those. They were so good. All right.
We have TV shows Choose Your Own Adventures. They've evolved.
That's true.
I haven't watched any of them, but
not
there.
One.
Let's get back to Castlevania, folks. We got some more to say, quite a bit more to say, actually. So I'm sorry to cut the tangent short. You know, I love riffing with my boys, but we need to talk about
cut it a little less long, because it was pretty fucking long, that tangent.
So first thing I want to mention is the boss of this stage. So let's get there. I mean,
very important.
This is pretty climactic, and from a lore perspective, a lot of important implications from this boss fight.
Real quick, while you're finding that in the video, though, Sam, I remember you were pretty salty about the Owl Knight at the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah, he's my bitch now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we encountered him, and if you might have encountered him in this level.
I did. And then I got my shield shit, and I went back and encountered him a few more times.
Just for good measure.
You were like, the knight, you.
Yeah. We're going to flip this script here, bucko.
You're that dude in Bloodsport, just like...
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're
there's literally nothing that'll stop me, because I'll either hit it once or maybe twice if it's really strong.
If it's naughty.
So the boss here, there's some more good visual theming. Like there's like on the top of the Colosseum, there's like ticket booths, as if you were like purchasing a ticket, and you can see the stands before you get there. And then you end up walking in on the Colosseum grounds, and you can see like the item that you're supposed to get. The whole reason we came here, you can see it, but there's like some iron bars blocking your way. And then you really can skip most of the Colosseum. If you just stick to the top area, you can skip all that lower stuff with all those really difficult rooms. But anyway, you work your way around, you walk out onto the floor of the Colosseum, and at last we encounter Richter Belmont in the flesh.
Nani?
Alucard's like, who are you? And Richter says, open hell's gate, come forth my servants. Now Alucard can tell he's a Belmont by the smell of his blood, but Richter wants none of that. He demands that the Minotaur and the werewolf slay Alucard. And so that's our boss fight here. Both the Minotaur and the werewolf, both returning from Rondo of Blood, although you fought them singularly there. And in this case, it's 2-on-1. What did you fellas think of the Minotaur werewolf fight?
I killed them in one hit with the shield rod.
It was pretty tough for me. I used the taser at first, and I used it wrong because like I keep forgetting that you can use these items multiple times, like in succession, real quickly. So I was like zap, and then I would stab them and jump and like all that, and so I died. And then I came back with the holy water, and that made short work of the werewolf, and then I was able to take out the Minotaur pretty easily. But yeah, no, the first time, because I played it poorly, I died.
He played poorly.
Well, let me admit it. It took 2 hits because they weren't standing next to each other.
Okay, casual.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, the 7th time I've played this fucking game.
Yeah.
But they were cool. They were cool enemies though. Like especially the Minotaur is pretty intimidating, dude. And they had some fun combo attacks when they worked together.
Yeah. They behave much as they did in Rondo. Their attacks are pretty similar. The werewolf is smaller and more nimble. He like jumps in the air and spins and does dive kicks and things like that. The Minotaur has a big axe that he swings, and he can do this charge attack where he charges head first across the screen really quickly. But Alucard, with his double jump, is a lot more athletic than Richter was in Rondo of Blood. So he doesn't have too much trouble avoiding these attacks, although it is a fairly claustrophobic space. With both of them attacking you, this could be a rather dangerous fight. But fortunately, we do have many tools at our disposal. We've got the shield rod. We've got all of our spells in our arsenal. And we've got our sub-weapons. The holy water, as Aaron used, and the taser, which I've recently discovered is called the Agunea, or possibly the Agunia. I
think that's Spanish for taser.
Yeah. I even Googled like, what is the Agunea? And nobody knows. Nobody can figure this out.
Have you guys ever played Hades? Or did you guys play Hades? I know I talked about it way back when. Well, the third world's boss is Theseus and the Minotaur. So it reminds me, and this fight reminded me that a little bit, because it's the same thing. We got two different guys at the same time. The Minotaur's all up in your shit. Theseus is kind of back, like he has a big shield and spear, so he does like ranged attacks. But it's having some flashbacks, and it's also in a Colosseum setting, very similar, but not so much artistically. They're a lot more pink and teals in that fight for some reason.
not as like dark and bloody as this game.
Very vibrant.
Well, so that's the Minotaur and the werewolf. Many ways to just totally crush and break this boss fight, but I think a pretty cool one, like thematically. It's fun to have those returning enemies from Rondo. It's what are we to make of this lore? I mean, Richter Belmont.
Yeah, what the fuck? And he says
these guys to kill us.
And he says, "My castle" is one of when he shows up. He's like, I forget. He says some, but I remember he says it, "My castle." So it's like, what the?
Yeah,
some interesting plot twist going on here.
Right. It's as if Richter is the master of this castle.
Richter, no.
Yeah, we're gonna have to investigate this. Has our friend Richter gone bad? And I suppose this is the first time that Alucard has actually met Richter, because he knew Trevor before.
By smell.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you smell familiar.
I can smell crime.
Smells crime, fight crime, full penetration, fight crime.
All right, let's see. I think that's all we need to say about that boss fight. Afterwards, Alucard's very confused. And then he walks over. You can activate the elevator, like Aaron alluded to earlier. And then we obtain the almighty Form of Mist, our second transformation, where we're getting all Wonder Twinsy up in this. Form of Mist, shape of wolf.
Form of an ice menorah.
We've got mist power now. We can travel through grates and iron bars, and that's very situational, but it's going to allow us to traverse some, certain things that we've seen before. We're going to be able to use that to unlock a very important item, which we'll talk about next week on this program, when we return to the Long Library at long last, to finish up that.
Anybody else feel bad about killing that Gravekeeper?
I kind of do.
You kill the Gravekeeper and then you steal his booze. They say it's green tea, but apparently it's in Japan, it's sake.
Yeah,
dude, you walk up to him and he starts flipping his shit.
Yeah, I mean, like
you can't step up to Alucard like that.
But we just walked into his house. He's just chilling.
Yeah, he's just hanging out there.
Dude, that dude's a Dracula. Come on, he's living in Castlevania.
He was all by himself. Dracula. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight, but no, he's just a poor drunk guy trying to forget that he's stuck in Dracula's castle. Like,
he's a man that assaults you. That's what it is.
That's very debatable. He's using there's stand your ground laws in Transylvania, man.
Yeah, they have the castle doctrine.
Yeah, exactly.
So racist committing a hate crime, and you kill him, and you take his you take away his booze.
You take his racist booze and you
That's
drink
right.
it yourself.
Yeah. He had it coming. That Gravekeeper is an enemy, a legacy enemy who's appeared several times. He was, I think, first in Rondo of Blood, but he's been in other games. But he's kind of a cool enemy. He's just like this weird, like hobo grave guy, like just hangs out in graveyards, like dressed in rags. Who's like a master of martial arts. Has like this
Is
big
he?
hat.
Master's kind of a strong word.
I mean, he's supposed to be intimidating, and I think in Rondo he's more intimidating than he is here. This game is just so unbalanced that we're just breaking it at this point. But
I feel like they had good intentions. They gave you stats and gear and all that stuff, but it's like not. I don't think balanced. Yeah, like today's standards of balancing. It just really gets out of hand pretty fast. if you know what you're doing, like I'm destroying it because I know that shield is the shield that I needed to go back, and that one thing I knew this specific shield I needed to spend my money on to make it work with the shield rod.
Yeah, and I don't. So we're having very different experiences right now.
Yeah. I would say it's easily broken if you know what you're doing. Right. Maybe accidentally broken if you've never played it before. But it has a great chance of bustage, so to speak.
You have a good chance of stumbling upon a way to break the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it always feels fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah, like even when I was extremely frustrated with those damn half horses, they kept keeping on knocking me out of the room, and the bone musket guys sniping me. They're way more useful in that room than when they were on the steps. Way more deadly. But even then, I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill these guys. I'm gonna go kill them. That's why I wasn't like, I'm done. This is fucking annoying. I was like, I'm going to go back and kill them.
Time to murder.
That room with all the bone muskets is really annoying because like there's a bunch of armor lords in that room too. Mm-hmm. And the bone muskets are like posted up behind the armor lords. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to deal with the armor lord, and at the same time you're being sniped by all the bone muskets. And I had a bad time in that room the first time I went there.
It's a very effective formation. They've got tactics, man. It's good shit.
We've got a ton of enemies here, though. I just wanted to go through some of these. We've got the hunting girl again, the invisible spirit with the rapier, a bunch more of those. We've got the Paranthropus, a giant skeleton wielding a big old bone.
Yeah.
Remember this guy. Remember this guy. Because right now he's nothing. He's just inconsequential. But later we're going to encounter him again. And later he will drop an item called the Ring of Varda. He doesn't drop it now, but when we meet him later on, he'll drop that. And we're going to want to get that. So remember Paranthropus and remember the Ring of Varda.
It's got a really cool death animation. Like he falls down and his body gets sucked into a black hole and his skull's just there left over.
Yeah, I avoided it because I was like, that might hurt me.
I'm not touching that. But yeah, all in all, cool level. That's for sure.
Yeah, tight level. I mean, we've got the Valhallanite. That's the horse, the half horse.
Yeah.
More armor lords. The Owl Knight, Plate Lord, the big guy with the ball and chain. Mm-hmm. We've got the Blade Master. These are the skeletons with like the two blades that can like do a bunch of acrobatic shit. They seem like they're going to be intimidating, but then they're kind of not. Kind of like the Gravekeeper.
Yeah, they were little. They didn't give me a little trouble, but like they were impressive in their agility and how they flipped around and shit.
Yeah. I salute them. We who are about to die salute you. I like that this is just like a gladiator arena, and that like Richter is like posting up like Commodus, like doing like dramatic thumbs down type stuff. Alucard's like, "Are you not entertained?" Richter smothered Marcus Aurelius so that he could become emperor, and that's how he became the leader of Castlevania.
Is Marcus Aurelius in this case the wizard Shaft?
Yeah, I guess Shaft is Marcus Aurelius.
Sure.
Richter's like, what about all my good qualities, Marcus Aurelius Shaft? You didn't mention my good qualities in your letter. Y'all remember the movie Gladiator, right?
It's been a
saw
long time.
One time ago, man. one
One
time
time
a
ago?
long time ago.
I used to watch it a lot. It was back when I used to watch movies more than once. Long ago.
Did you guys read about the proposed sequel to Gladiator?
Yeah, it's whack. It's fucking out there, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
The gods like they resurrect what's his face? The Russell Crowe's character. Yeah, Maximus. In the present times, and he like starts he like works for the Pentagon or something, and yeah, it got goofy. I don't have it like brought up here. I can't like read it, but
it's insanely stupid.
Yes,
there's a good reason that they opted not to make it.
Good God, yeah. That movie won Best Picture. That seems kind of crazy to me. Russell Crowe won Best Actor for it.
You know,
it's a good enough movie. Like, it's enjoyable, but
I could be remembering it wrong. Movie. But I think that I went and saw Battlefield Earth instead of seeing Gladiator.
Oh my God!
I didn't know.
Forgive him. He knows not what he does.
I'm sorry. I feel awful about it, but I did.
No wonder you're not getting my very specific references to the film Gladiator.
I know. I just got a bunch of Battlefield Earth lore jammed in there. It's shoved all the Gladiator stuff out.
On my signal, unleash hell.
What a movie.
It is a tight movie. There's some cool fight scenes in that. And then
Battlefield Earth,
Joaquin Phoenix like trying to make it with his sister.
Hot.
That was before Game of Thrones made it cool.
Yeah.
They tried, but they didn't. Joaquin was a bad guy. That was the problem.
Yeah. It was before he was a good guy when he played Joker.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Just before we wrap up, just let me real quick. We should go over some of the items that we can pick up in the Colosseum. We can get the Blood Cloak, which converts damage to hearts. Pretty cool.
Yep.
And I think it also like changes your cloak color when you equip it. We've got the shield rod, of course. We've talked about that at great length. We get the green tea, which is actually sake. That's what you steal from the poor Gravekeeper who's just chilling in his little house there. Form of Mist. And then there's another one. We can't get this yet. I forgot all about this. But if you go to the very top of the Colosseum, there's an area where we're going to need to fly to get up where it's at. But there's a holy sword up there. But we'll get that a little bit later. So just keep that in mind. And then this says in demon card. I feel like this is like not in the American version of the game, but it's like for a familiar or something. But
we also got our first library card, at least my first library card.
It says there Japanese, and if you go back down to that item you were looking at, the
nose demon card.
Symphony of the Night Japanese and DXC only, whatever that means.
That's Dracula X Chronicles. So that's the version that I'm playing. So I think that I'll be able to get that. And I think that's that goofy demon that we saw a video of.
Essence of Nose Demon.
Aaron, this is your first library card. You didn't buy one from the Master Librarian when you had the chance, right?
I did not. This was my first one. It's very exciting.
Well,
I love the library.
I did not waste mine. I got it, but I walked back to the library because I didn't want to use my library card for that. I figured I'd wait until I needed to get somewhere instead of not like needed to get to the library, but was like just so far deep somewhere that I needed to get out of there.
But the thing is, you can buy infinite library cards from the Master Librarian.
Yeah, but I don't want to waste my money. I was close enough from there. It wasn't that long of a walk.
It only costs $500.
Are there other shops later on, or is it just the librarian?
Yeah, it's just the librarian.
Just the librarian. Okay.
I think it was like I only just barely had enough for the shield. It was like 4,000 almost for the shield.
Well, I guess you got to pinch your pennies where you can. Alucard didn't get to be the champion of the night by being
Mama Dracula didn't raise no fool.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's going to about do it. Oh, we also opened up the shortcut that we saw earlier to the Royal Chapel, so we can freely move from the Royal Chapel to the Colosseum now. But with the Colosseum cleared out, and I guess you don't even need to clear it out. You could just kill the boss and get the Form of Mist and move on. But nevertheless, we're all done. And next time on the show, we'll be revisiting the Long Library and wrapping that up. And then we'll be obtaining a certain ability in the Long Library that's going to open up a world of possibilities. So I thought we could spend some time just discussing some different random parts of the castle that we can go back to and access now. So anyway, but that's going to be next time on the show. Sam, did you have something to add before we wrap up here?
No, but I'll talk about that next time, it seems.
Okay. We'll save it. We've got the Form of Mist now, though, which is going to, like I said, open up some new areas, specifically in the Long Library. So I guess you can look forward to that next time on the show. What do you say we wrap it up there, guys?
Let's do it. That's it. We did it, guys.
All right. Sam, what words of wisdom can you offer before we leave?
If you're vaccinated and you know someone that's vaccinated, give them a hug.
There you go.
Go get your vaccine hugs, everybody.
Get your vax hugs.
It's kind of nice.
Go get your vaccines if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you are vaccinated, go hang out with someone who's vaccinated. Because it's kind of nice to do that again.
It's nice seeing humans.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Just everybody pump your brakes, okay? It's all right. It's all right. Like, let's not get too excited here, all right? It's people are okay sometimes.
All right. Well, no one asked you for words of wisdom, Aaron. But I will ask you what you would like to tell our listeners before we leave today.
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. You're wonderful people, and we appreciate you all very much. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and links to all of our things. And please join us again next time for the Long Library 2. Everybody out there, save and continue.